Hi boss, welcome to the channel. In case we haven't met before, I am Aubrey, a nerdy, 30 and thriving copy and brand strategist, absolutely obsessed with banana pudding, dad jokes, and the Golden Girls. All around, hello. In today's video, I'm going to share my exact subject line strategy to help you increase your open rates and add a little pizzazz back to your
bad copy.
So if that sounds good to you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below so you never miss a future upload. Email subject lines. I think we all love them, right? Subject lines are a pain in the ass, to put it bluntly. They're the most important part. They're kind of like your welcome mat to your entire email. Your email list isn't free 9 times out of 10. You're probably on MailerLite, MailChimp, ActiveCampaign. That's the one I'm on. Link is in the description in case you're interested in checking them out. So we have to get everything right the first time. It's so important to welcome your subscribers or your email list in some way that is enticing, but not a total waste of their time or gimmicky or anything like that. Subject lines are ridiculously easy to fail and get wrong. So let's go ahead and get started with my personal strategy for subject lines. Before we dive too far into the video, I do want to give a shout to today's sponsor. Me! I shouldn't have. If you are interested in supporting me on Patreon, I would love for you to join me over there. If you want access to my personal resource library for copywriting and branding, I'm never going to share these anywhere else other than my Patreon. And today, you're going to probably hear me talk a lot about my first resource, which literally has over 150 converting subject lines ready for you to get inspired. These aren't just your typical subject lines thrown together in a resource or untested. These are actual subject lines that have hit my inbox that I personally opened. I think it's so cool to peek under the hood of other people's businesses, and so if you're interested to get some creativity going, sparking some of that inspiration going on, definitely head over to Patreon. The link is down below. So all subject lines do not equal the same. So admittedly, there are 3 micro strategies to my 1 subject line strategy for you today. There are 3 categories or areas of different emails that I'm going to be talking about in this video that you should be writing on a regular basis, or that you might in the future write. So at some point you're going to stumble upon these. So category number 1. Sales emails. Whenever I receive a sales email, I immediately know it's a sales email, but I still open them. With sales email subject lines, you want it to be kind of apparent that it's a sales email, and that might sound a little strange, but honestly, for me, in my strategy for sales emails is I want to write something that actually reads like you're gonna find a sales pitch in this email somewhere. Let's say you're working on an offer, and so you can title your email subject line like, is your offer name here right for you? Right? That's obviously a sales pitch in there. It's like a neon sign, buy my stuff, right? I think it's so critical to understand why it's important to kind of flag in advance that it's a sales email, because I don't really care about my open rates as much as everyone else on the internet does. I only care about the right people reading the right emails, because it's kind of the same thought process as, say, buying 10,000 followers for Instagram and having like 2 likes on every single photo. Not only is it painfully obvious that you did that, but there's really no benefit to having 10,000 ghost followers that never engage, because you're not going to be blowing up on the algorithm at all. I want to put my stuff in front of the right people, and the subject line is a perfect way to help me do that. I believe that words should work for you and not against you. So words are very powerful. Like my little slogan around here, hint, if you go on Patreon you'll see this, but a slogan that I've kind of lived by for like the last year or so is, words are powerful, let them do the work. Words can do the work as long as you know how to manage them. Like, you're kind of like the overlord of every single word you put online. So if you're a good manager, or you're like a good overlord, it's gonna serve you well. But if you don't know what you're doing and you don't know how to manage, yikes. So let's fix this. What goes into a really great sales email subject line? I already kind of gave you my first strategy, and that is kind of making it seem like a sales email. I don't want people opening up an email and getting annoyed or rolling their eyes. You know, unsubscribing is a real thing. People are going to do it, and you can't get butthurt whenever people do it. But I want to hold on to my audience for as long as possible, and a lot of my lists, they're very engaged, they're very active. So I don't want to lose them, and I don't want to piss anybody off. So if you're like writing a subject line that reads more of like a personal anecdote, or, ooh, this person thinks they're actually going to learn something, and it's a sales email and it just has nothing of value to offer for them, it's kind of like a bad taste in your mouth. Even though people are on your list, they may forget you. They may not open your emails week to week. They may miss a couple of weeks for whatever reason. Life is life, and things are happening if you haven't noticed in the last year. So people do disappear for long periods of time, and they may forget who you are. You know, as memorable as you think you are, I promise you you're not. People will forget you, especially if you're like me and you're a small little nobody on the internet. So writing a kick-ass subject line is one way to increase that memorability factor. So what is the exact science behind a good sales subject line, in my opinion? And I'm an avid connoisseur and devourer of people's emails. So you can do a number of things. You can do results-based stuff. So you can say she made $1,000 in 30 days, or in her first 30 days as a freelance copywriter, right? With this, you know, and you want to tease your offer a little bit. So instead of saying your offer name, just say with this. So that instantly tells you that it's going to be a sales email. But it also shares some of the results that might happen for them as well. So it's enticing and it's engaging because they want to know how to do that. Subject lines really have one job to do, and that is make sure that people effing open the damn thing, right? So if you're going to say how she made $1,000 in 30 days as a freelance copywriter by or with this, I really want to stress how important it is to provide value, free value that other people can get, because not only if you actually provide a couple of, quick little steps or quick little blueprints or teasers of some of the answers that they can expect in your program, they'll actually be able to kind of say, she's actually offering me some solid advice. I may check it out. You may capture those people who are only here for the free stuff, and they may actually click on your links. They may or may not buy, but if people are clicking on your links and checking out your offers, that's more eyes on it. There's more attention drawn to it, and they may be a future buyer. The next subject line category that I'm going to talk about is brand awareness or trust building subject lines. These are probably like 80% of what I personally send out. What are brand awareness emails in general? I'm going to be talking about them more in depth a little bit later on, but in general, these are emails that are about you, about your business, about some training that you provide for free, webinars that you provide for free, anything that is something that should attract people. Like a lead magnet is a really great brand awareness building tool. That know, like, and trust value, anything to do with like learning about you. That's kind of like all brand awareness emails, which is why it's like a huge part of my personal business. So I would even reckon to say that it's safe to say that it's like 85% of my emails that I send out. Do you want people to open these emails based off of your own personal testimony, based off of something that you want to show them or teach them, or shift maybe the mindset in that, maybe shift their mindset even? So you want to make this personal. I cannot stress this enough, especially if you are a creative business, creative entrepreneur, VA, or any person who is an online service provider, more towards like the creative space. If you're like super corporate, maybe not, this doesn't so much apply to you, but I cannot stress to you the value of personality. Personalization. I'm not talking about personalization for your list. I'm talking about personalization coming from you, showing who you are and allowing people to kind of peek inside your head, peek under the hood of your business, all of that stuff. So subject lines like, it took me 16 days to realize this. That's not really a sales email because it doesn't really allude to anything. You know, this is kind of a mystery. Yes, it's kind of the same strategy, but honestly, it just kind of pinpoints to learning. Okay, what is this? I'm going to click it and see what happens. And it's important here, if you're going to sell stuff in your brand awareness emails, you can mention stuff. You can put a call to action in every single email, which I highly recommend that you do. More on that in a future video. But it is important to offer that personality. I subscribe to people for a reason, whether or not it's just for a lead magnet, whether or not it's just because I loved their, you know, live on Instagram and I'm just like, I need more of them. I really want to figure out people and what they're doing, and I'm very curious to tune into that. So whenever you're crafting the subject lines for your brand awareness emails, it's so important to make it all about you, or all about something that you want to share, that you want to offer to somebody else as real value, and kind of frame it around an area of interest that they may have. These areas of interest will vary greatly based off of your niche, your customers' pain points, all of that stuff. I have about 85 email subject lines for this category alone. So if you want to join me on Patreon, you will get access to that 150 plus email subject lines resource. So my main strategy for this is really just being personal. You can share stuff like, I retired my husband early, or I love sipping on pina coladas by the fire. Something that would really appeal to your audience, honestly, and something that would trigger a curiosity, or something that would really dive deep into what they want. And so knowing what they want is important in this step. But figuring out and understanding your ideal buyer is key in all of this, because it helps you understand how they speak, how they talk, and what they want to learn. You're not wasting your time building up a list and then just throwing whatever shit out there and hoping it sticks to a wall. The final category is welcome sequence emails. Welcome emails are incredibly important. If you don't have a welcome sequence, stop whatever you're doing, write one up, go find one off the internet, tweak it, and perfect the messaging, and throw it up on your email marketing thing in a campaign automation now. I will be talking more about welcome sequences, you guessed it, in a future video, but today we're going to talk about how to write a perfect welcome sequence email subject line, because they're probably the very first taste of what every single subscriber that comes into your orbit even sees. So they're pretty important. Here is where I love using emojis. I feel like if you have a creative business and you are like me, emojis can make things stand out whenever you're scrolling on Gmail or your phone. Like that pop of color that hits you, it's just so eye-catching. And so emojis really help me in my personal business, but I don't always use them. But emojis, this is just like a general tip. Emojis, appropriate emojis, don't go ham. Do not go ham with the emojis, please. But using like one or two in every subject line here and there is fine. But here is where it's perfect to use it, because not only does it show them your personality in a visual way, it can also, again, capture their attention whenever they're scrolling through their long laundry list or even box. You know, we get a lot of emails, and it sucks. So one of my favorite subject lines to include in my welcome sequence is stuff like, your resource name is just one click away, or your brand new life is just one click away, or like whatever your freebie or lead magnet is, it's just one click away, right? If it's a webinar, or if it's like a replay or something, if it's a digital download, it's just one click away, you know. So open this email because it's literally just one click away. Your life's transformation, the mini transformation, is just a click away. I see a lot of success with this in my own business. I've used it in the past. I'm not sure if it's still in use. I may have tweaked it to test out another one or so, but in general, again, just reminding them what they signed up for by including your resource or like the result of the resource in the subject line will not only shift their attention directly to you, especially with the emojis. Just saying, emojis are good. With welcome sequences anyway. calling attention to the result that they signed up for, or just the resource that they have just signed up for, is also a really key way of making sure that they see your email, because likely if they don't download it right away, they'll probably never download it. And so yeah, if you include the name of your freebie or the lead magnet that you use in your business, it will kind of spark that, oh, I just signed up for that, I have to get that now. And in that welcome sequence, you just want to make it all about them. This is where, instead of it being about you and learning specifically from your personal experience, you want to make it all about them. So your welcome sequence, I'm going to talk literally in depth about this in a, guessed it, later video. But for today, you want anywhere between 3 and 5 emails. And so having a story that kind of draws all of them together is super important. And a really great way to tie them all together, having a sequence of subject lines that all kind of tie together. So it almost builds like a story, kind of like chapter titles in a way. That's all I'll say about that. But yeah, if you want more ideas on any of these subject lines that I'm talking about, the strategies that I am talking about, join me on Patreon. And I'm going to be adding a whole bunch of resources as I continue to make these videos. So the value of my Patreon membership is only going to go up. I'm just saying. If you have any questions about these strategies that I've shared with you today, or you would like more information about my Patreon or anything that I offer, my services, I would love to chat with you in the comments below. Look for the pinned comment and reply back to that. Or you can always just create your own comment. Go full rogue. And thank you so much for joining me today. That you would spend any part of your day with me means the whole world. I'm very flattered and tickled that you are here. I will see you in the next video. Bye!
You should have seen the way that you bloomed. I think I saw your face in the moon. I promise I'll be with you as soon as I find a way up, yeah. 'Cause you're farther than